Power creep in Honkai Star Rail has been a constant issue for me because I truly feel that really new players are just going to have to keep summoning for brand new characters every single time a new character comes out because the content gets harder and it feels like everybody's going to have to suffer through the bane of having to roll for every new character, possibly the new light cone as well. But I digress. I'm not the only one that thinks this, and today we're going to be taking a look at Gotcha Smack's video about power creep and if it's becoming a problem. Now guys, if you like the content, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell to be notified of when the next Honkai Star Rail video comes out. And of course, I'll also be leaving a link to, of course, Gotcha Smack's video because I want to give Gotcha Smack support as well, because it's not fair that you guys watch my reaction without at least going and showing him some love on his original. But of course, without any further delay, let's go ahead and get right into today's video. Alrighty, Gotcha Smack, lay it on me. Lay it on me, sir, with what you think about power creep, because honestly, I'm pretty sure what it's going to be is that we're going to have about the same opinions, because Gotcha Smack's very smart. He's a very smart content creator, in my personal opinion. I've seen a lot of the stuff that he does, and a lot of unique builds for characters in Honkai Star Rail that some people just may not agree with. You know, I did see his whole thing with Blade being a triple HP at one point, which some people would disagree with. I think it's not the most premium build, but there is an argument to be made for that build. But I digress. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about power creep. So let's hear it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video by yours truly. I just woke up from the fattest nap, and I've had power creep on my
same
mind all day.
I've literally been napping
myself,
all week, bro.
Are there any issues with power creep inside of a gacha game? What are the good things? What are the pros and cons? Should people be concerned? And I want to go in depth and have a good discussion with you guys, and as usual provide a good thought-provoking conversation. It's evident
most of the videos that he makes are very thought-provoking, in my opinion.
Stronger than the previous units. And after giving it some deep thought, I think I have a good understanding as to why that may be happening. So let's go ahead and go through a number of variables here real quick. Why do people frown upon power creep in these games in the first place? Let's start off with the funniest reason. The funniest reason people frown upon it is because it's some guy who, their character who they spent their hard-earned resources on used to be the strongest, and now they're not the strongest anymore.
Yeah. That's one big reason why people hate power creep. But to put in perspective, Ganyu is my favorite character in Genshin Impact. Is she the most not popular? Is she the most powerful DPS out there now? Absolutely not. She gets destroyed and now DPS. She's still my favorite character, but it sucks because if I'm gonna go run something in Genshin, which most of the stuff in Genshin Impact is very super easy baby mode, so I could run Ganyu if I wanted to, but to get it cleared as quickly as humanly possible, I just put Neuvillette on. Neuvillette is literally the best DPS right now. But yeah, it's one of the funnier reasons people get mad, because they want their character to be the best, and it turns out that they're not the best. Maybe in an anime they're equal power, but when it comes to the gacha game, obviously not the same.
And so they're pissed off about this. Oh shit, this is horse shit, guys. You're not mad about this. You should be upset. We should be reeling about this. But in reality, this
how dare Jingliu
characters no longer matter.
Outpace
not really that
on damage everybody else.
Right? It's gonna happen. I don't think it's a bad thing when your character's no longer the strongest, because I think it keeps things personally more interesting. If the same person was always the strongest character inside of a game, I think that gets a little bit boring. And so for that type of argument, I think it should be dismissed. Who gives a shit? Go cry me a river. But the second
very true
upon power creep inside of games is because, well, let's just, I guess, pertaining to gacha games in general, what happens is the newer characters keep getting stronger and stronger, and the older characters are staying the same. But the difficulty level and the dynamic and overall progression of the game is rising, right? But those older characters are staying down here. And you've spent your hard-earned resources on these characters who were at one point strong enough to keep up with the pacing of the game, but now they're falling off. And it's evident that this is a tactic utilized by gacha companies to pressure
100%. I want to stop it right there really quick. I know I'm pausing a lot, but it's the truth. If you're playing a gacha game, Most of the time these games are going to be so like driven on making the new character so good that you have to summon, whether it's your free to play summons or you're gonna put money into it. The only one that I've kind of seen this not be the case with is honestly Genshin Impact. It used to be, but now Genshin is just so freaking easy to beat and do everything that there's nothing crazy about it. Like literally the only one that I literally just spoke his name into existence before was Neuvillette, and Neuvillette is just ridiculously strong. But I don't think that's because they wanted to make him ridiculously strong for power creep. I think it was because they misstepped on something and then we're like, oh well, I mean, he's here now, have fun. Because to be honest, a lot of the Genshin Impact characters are not that good. Now, Honkai Star Rail is a definitely good example of that. What did you need, or not need, but what did you, well, okay. What did you need to make it easier to clear Swarm? Like completely. You needed Fu Xuan, because Fu Xuan just made things so much easier. Your damage dealer was, for the longest time, top damage dealer was, you know, Imbibitor Lunae in regards to multi-target. Now it's Jingliu. Jingliu just freaking outpaces freaking, you know, Danheng. Well, not completely. Like I have seen that it's a little bit of a keep up, but there's no denying Jingliu is way overpowered. Like, and it's just gonna happen. Another game that this happens in now, more than not, Dokkan Battle. Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle has it a lot. Power creep has become such a thing. I had every event cleared for the most part, and now I can't clear crap in Dokkan Battle. And that was with all the red zone stuff. If you're into Dokkan Battle, you'll know this, but red zone stages, all the infinite Dragon Ball history stuff. Now I have such a hard time because no matter what, it is such a like, it's so annoying to deal with. Like, unless you have some of the newer units, you're not gonna pass that stuff. So, but I digress. Actually, great example for Dokkan Battle. One of the red zone stages I wasn't able to complete until I actually got AGL Gamma 2. Now, if you don't know Dokkan Battle, this is going to go way over your head, but AGL Gamma 2 is a beast and helped me clear that stage. But then the moment I cleared it, there was units that got released that were absolutely able to clear that regardless. And I'm just like, whoa, what was the point of me waiting for Gamma 2? I'm just saying.
Money if you want to continue playing their game at a comfortable level. And this is where it becomes problematic, and you definitely should be concerned if this is happening inside of a gacha game that you are playing.
Exactly.
It's a bit of a scumbag tactic. They're basically just trying to milk you dry and keep you spending money in order to play their game.
100%.
So is that happening in Honkai Star Rail? No shot. Not even close, actually.
Really?
The difficulty level of the game is... I definitely believe it's rising, but they're also dropping a number of support. We're getting
that's fair too.
Our arsenal known as support units to essentially make any unit in the game effectively strong.
So I will agree in that regard, because at least with Honkai, like, yeah, we can get 4-star units that are like helpful and like support wise. Tingyun is definitely one of those units that continues to stay good regardless of who gets released because of what she's able to do, and the like units themselves, they're pretty good. Like, I haven't tried well, I mean, I can't try Gwenaifen yet, but Gwenaifen might be good for DOT, you know, and all that stuff. But I do feel that power creep is a thing in Honkai Star Rail. Which I don't think that's what he's saying. I think I think he's saying that power creep is not going to affect the overall gameplay of Honkai Star Rail, which I could kind of agree with. I think that right now we're still a little too early. We're still in the first sets of what's going on with Honkai Star Rail. We're only in 1.4 going into 1.5 now. But yeah.
And if they drop any challenging content, such as the Swarm simulated disaster, they're combating the older characters who aren't as strong as the newer characters by throwing in gacha elements of buffs to pretty much make even the most weak sauce character in the game perform well, such as Natasha. You've seen people solo the Swarm universe with a goddamn Natasha.
Really? I haven't seen that. I actually might have to look that up.
They've combated that by allowing you to pick up buffs to make any character strong. It doesn't matter who it is. The Memory of Chaos, you've seen people zero cycle with a goddamn Herta. And that is evidence of
I do remember Herta being like big for a little while.
Newer characters are becoming stronger and stronger and stronger, when in reality, the difficulty of the game, the baseline difficulty threshold, is still at a level where any character in the game is going to pop off. Now, the only people...
I definitely can agree to that to an extent, but I do feel like the signs of power creep are drawing near, because we are seeing the new characters outpace the older characters by a lot. Am I going to sit here and say that everything's impossible to beat? Absolutely not. We saw MTashed actually beat Swarm without the need of a Fushuan, I believe. And I do believe that I've seen a couple others as well. I gotta see this Natasha soloing Swarm, because that's a big, bold claim, and I haven't seen it myself. Not to say that it isn't true. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and be like, that's impossible. There's no way. If I haven't seen it, it's not possible. Because I'm pretty sure like there's ways to do it, but I would love to see it myself, so that way I can actually say, you know what? Yeah, I mean, it is. But for me personally, even with the new supports and, you know, the buffs that we get during like Swarm and all that stuff, I truly feel that power creep is still an issue. Not as big of an issue in this game as it is in other gacha games, but you got to be careful too, because it is a very big tactic that a lot of companies over gacha games will use. So
people who really complain about
it's to make more money
are meta slaves. Meta slaves, again, are pissed off because their characters are no longer at the top of the meta. For me personally, I enjoy the meta because I am a competitive person. And so it doesn't matter to me who's the strongest and who's the weakest. I just want to make sure that I'm using the most effective tactics available to compete with people who play this game on a sweaty level. But other than that,
absolutely understandable
that power creep is occurring, because it keeps things more interesting. I love the fact that some newer characters coming out and they're kicking ass, because it doesn't actually affect you know, the overall progression and dynamic of the game, so long as that difficulty level is remaining relatively balanced to the overall characters in the game. And I think the biggest important variable for this is the supportive character. As long as the supports are coming out to supplement everyone in the game, I think
100%. I think the support characters will help it out, but
now, the next thing I want to delve into that kind of pertains to everything I just mentioned is the peanut butter and jelly cohesiveness between power creeping and indirect buffing. These two here work like peanut butter and jelly if done correctly, or if they can work like oil and water if done incorrectly. The coolest thing about them,
I see what he's getting at with this one,
has mastered this concept, and it's a reason why they're on the top and they're profiting so much. When you use these two correctly, you can balance a gacha game. And
I don't know about mastering it. I will say that they're better than most. Like, take for example, I think when they introduced Dendro into Genshin Impact, that was big because it truly balanced out Electro and made them a lot better. But the other end of that is Geo. Geo is terrible in Genshin Impact. Just is. And I think it definitely needs a buff in some way, shape, or form. So I don't want to, I can't say that they're masters of it, but I could definitely say they're better than most. They still have a long way to go. Honkai Star Rail is in a lot better state than Genshin Impact in regards to balancing, I feel. But I also feel that Honkai Star Rail is just releasing a bunch of like OP units. But yeah.
You can even tailor it in a way where you're always making sure characters are the strongest or giving off the illusion that they're the strongest when they're being promoted. So for right now, when the newer characters come out, they're just straight up strong as hell, right? And then the older characters, they fall down in strength level. But then what ends up happening is they end up dripping in indirect buffs known as units. That's one of them. We'll go over them. Units that are like created to synergize and benefit a particular unit more well than others, right? let's say a unit drops that gives you skill points back. That's going to benefit a DHIL, obviously, because he's so skill point hungry, or Qingque. And then they have relic sets, new relic sets that drop that are more beneficial to certain units than others. Again, an indirect buff that increases the power level of certain units marginally.
Relics and artifact sets are literally just part of the games that get released. To be honest, like, if that's such a weird pause. There we go. So yeah, I feel that relics and artifacts really do play a big role in this. Again, I keep using Genshin as an example, but it's the truth. With 4.1 or 4.0 in general, when it released, we got the new sets, the Golden Trope and Massachusetts. I hope I pronounced that right. But those sets have made older units even better. Fischl is a god still because of these buffs. Like, there's so many characters that actually benefit from those artifacts, but even the relic sets too. The relic sets are getting crazy good and working really, really well for Honkai Star Rail, which, yes, in turn does make older units better. But at the same time, we also have to think, like, if we're getting the new unit, do we have time to grind these older relics? Like, it sucks. Granted, Honkai has just not had a time to have a full rerun version to where we just get, like, you know, story and all that stuff, and it's just a bunch of reruns, and then boom, we can go ahead and just power through and make some of our other units really, really good. We haven't had that yet. Maybe 1.6. We'll see.
Content in the game where they are changing the elemental synergies to benefit a promotional character. And they're dropping new enemies into the game that are weak. They have like particular intricacies in their kit that are designed to hinder certain units. And that's always going to be on the table. It's a limitless, potential for balancing out their game to ensure that no unit is ever going to be safe. And so you have to ask yourself, when you pick up a unit, what is going to give them longevity of value? I can tell you right now, DPSs are always the first expendable units to drop down in value because they have no value outside of doing DPS. And there's always ways to indirectly nerf them just as much as there's ways to indirectly buff them.
100%. 100%. We see this in every gacha game. DPSs get nerfed to crap. Even just units in general can get nerfed to crap with a new enemy or anything like that. And what do you got to do? You got to summon for a new character.
While we're on the topic, let's say they start dropping in units, support units for that matter, that are generating skill points to your team and thus removing the most high sought out value in a character right now, skill point positivity. That's like what we look for in every character in today's Honkai Star Rail.
100%.
Down the line, they start dropping units who are generating skill points. Now the most sought out units are going to be the potentially least sought out units. That's going to flip things upside down, and boy, is it going to stir that pot.
Oh, dude.
The Blade mains, Jingliu mains, Tingyun, who I thought was not going to be power creepable, which I don't think she still ever will be.
Yeah, Tingyun is going to be one of those units that just lasts. But think about it. Think about it for a sec, y'all. Like, there's going to be a day when skill point positivity, as he just said, is going to be crucial. There's going to be units that drop our skill points. We already kind of saw it in the Fantilia fight. And that fight, when you're like trying to use Imbibitor Lunae, can be annoying as all hell. Granted, it's still easy, but it's just annoying. But yeah, there's going to be a time where our DPSs that use like an over amount of skill points just to be able to do damage, they're going to be looked at like, oh, they could do a lot of damage, but are they good? Not right now. But that's something to really think about.
But you get what I'm trying to say. They can always implement in a indirect nerf or buff to completely change up the game. And you can't be mad. You know why? You're playing a gacha game, for crying out loud, people. Like my boy Necrit said, you can't walk inside of a liquor store and not expect liquor, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. It's going to happen. This is the gacha industry, and you got to expect these things. Overall, is there cause for concern with power creep? No, I don't think there is. At least not on a level of the majority of people that play this game. Meta, yeah, that, and there always will be. And I think there's no problem with it on a meta level in a gacha game. hell, even outside of gacha games, people have a hard time balancing things. It's just the way it is. There's always that one person who slips through the cracks, because at the end of the day, the more complex and intricate kits that drop, the more that ball of the combat system becomes more and more complex and harder to keep things relatively balanced.
100%.
Overall, these are my thoughts on the subject matter.
All right, so that's big, right? And we're gonna talk while I go into the transition here. So when it comes to Honkai, and I get where he's coming from, and he's saying that it's not going to be a big deal. I thought we would absolutely agree on this. This was my first time watching this. However, I do truly feel that power creep can become a massive issue for Honkai Star Rail. Now, again, he did say it. I'm going to be using this a lot now, actually. You can't be going into a liquor store and not expecting liquor. That's absolutely it. Gacha games love power creep. It's to get more money out of you. So I'm not going to complain about power creep. I'm going to be like, yeah, it's whatever. Like, it is what it is. But I will say that power creep is one of those things where if you do a little too much of it, you might be able to you might just push people away. Not to say that it will. They might just be like, oh yeah, you know, we're going to keep releasing new units, making more money, and people are just going to buy it. But, you know, there is a chance, too, that if you power creep a little too much in a game, you might lose your audience. So, Hoyoverse is a very, very good company in regards to how they structure their games. And we've seen with Genshin Impact, even with new releases of characters and new mechanics being added, power creep is not really a thing in there. At least not that I've seen. So I hope that that's the same case for Honkai Star Rail. We'll definitely see as time goes on. But what do y'all think? Is power creep an issue? Let me know in the comments down below. Once again, thank you all so much. Big shout out to Gotcha Smack for another wonderful video. And yeah, hopefully you all have a good rest of your day. Please be safe out there, and we'll catch you all in the next video.